Episode 253. I Love You Forever. Alan gestured to Anna, and those behind him also understood. A person behind them went up to check, suddenly stepped down, turned and shouted, "Police! They're here! Run!" Both Alan and Anna were shocked. Immediately, several of them all rushed towards the back door.
"Don't try to leave!"
Lila suddenly shouted, picked up the lighter, ignited it, and threw it at the place where the gasoline had been poured. Boom! The fire suddenly went up without warning. The hot, burning air was overwhelming with the smell of burning ruins and gasoline. The entire place was under a layer of orange-red fire. The person who was holding Serena finally let go. Caught off guard, Serena collapsed. The man looked towards Lila with anger. "Maniac, are you crazy? None of us can get out now." Lila laughed in madness. Holding her father's lifeless body, she teared up and said cruelly,
"Why go out? Don't even try. Aren't you afraid of the police? They won't dare come in here with the fire going on. Let's all die together."
"Damn it, she's crazy!" The man went up and hit Lila hard with his fist. She screamed. The man, not satisfied, pushed her, and she landed on her back hard. "Go! Stop hitting her! Take her with you! She knows where the goods are!" Alan shouted and pulled Anna towards the back door. The man saw this, cursed, but immediately dragged Lila Cox to the back. "Anna, stop!" Charlie screamed. "Alan, where are you taking my daughter?" Anna's footsteps paused. She turned to see her father's expression. Alan gave her a yank and shouted, "Do you really think that he's your father? His daughter's there on the floor. It's not you. Follow me." Charlie heard his words and felt dumbstruck. How did they know? Obviously, he had not told them about this. Neither had he shown anything when he returned home from the hospital. When did Anna know? Anna heard those words and her expression changed. She looked at Charlie and whispered quickly, "I'm sorry, Dad." "Anna!" Charlie's voice was full of fear. "Anna!" However, she no longer stayed and headed for the back.
"Mr. Wrong, help!"
Serena shouted. Her eyes were begging and her voice was hoarse and choked. "I beg you, please save us!" For a time, the fire became more and more fierce, and there was a burst of crackling everywhere. This was an abandoned electrical appliance factory. Abandoned machinery and industrial debris were the most dangerous. Surrounded by the fire, there were only the three of them left. Jake, who was dying, Serena, and Charlie. Charlie was disappointed by Anna's betrayal, but he quickly reacted and walked towards Serena to untie the ropes on her body. Just then, they heard footsteps, and several people snuck in. When seeing the scene, someone soon gave instructions. One policewoman stayed. The rest went to chase the gangsters. When Serena was free, she dashed towards where Jake was lying. However, she did not dare touch him. He was covered in blood. He was quiet, lying on the ground. Even his breathing was very weak. "What should we do?" Serena burst into tears. "We have to send him to the hospital! Hurry!" Charlie wanted to do that too, but did not know where to start. "Don't move him!" the policewoman who was left behind warned. Then she squatted to check him up and announced in a positive voice, "There are many fractures. Don't just move him around. If the bones pierce the internal organs, it could be life-threatening for him." The fire was getting bigger, and there were sounds of small explosions from time to time. The entire warehouse had a gasoline stench. "Dangerous. Take her first," Jake said weakly. "Take her out first, please."
"No, don't!"
Serena cried. "We must go together. I don't want you to die. The children cannot have no father. I'm begging you, take him with you and save him, please." Serena was even going to kneel in front of them if she had to. Charlie quickly helped her up, gazing at her with his eagle eyes, forcing her to calm down.
Listen, the situation is dangerous. The fire is too big. If we're going to make it, it has to be now. I will take you out first, and later I will come back with this police officer to get him out. I promise to give you a living Jake, okay?
Really?
Serena wiped away her tears and looked at Jake. Jake nodded to her.
Protect the babies first. I will be out in a second.
But...
No but!
Charlie almost roared.
If you want him to be alive, you must get out of the way and go out! Only when you go out safely we can have the peace of mind.
Serena paused her sobbing and nodded in a silly way. She still could not help but look in the direction of Jake. He too was looking up at her. His eyes, which were normally cold and sharp, reflected the fire. It looked like there were 1,000 stars in them.
Serena.
His voice was weak. Serena heard him and burst into tears again, but she did not dare, gritting her teeth and looking at him. He looked at her. The tenderness was overwhelming in his eyes. He said,
I love you forever.
Something quickly left her heart. So empty. So empty. The fire was out of control, and a large part of the building structure had melted down. There was almost nowhere to go. Michael Cox was very good at picking such secluded spots. Where they were located was the central area of the abandoned factory. They were hundreds of feet away from any safe place. The thick black smoke rushed up, and Serena almost passed out. Covering her nose and mouth, she was still overwhelmed by the pervasive black smoke. Charlie gritted his teeth, whispering,
Hold your breath.
Camilla had stood at the door for a long time, and then there was a car coming over. A police car. Several policemen came to her side and quickly asked her something. They left a person to watch her, and others quickly approached the abandoned factory. However, before the police were there was a huge boom. The orange-red fire made her eyes hazy.